I can't stop gaining weight. Have you ever really struggled with your weight? I mean, really struggled. I know it's all cool and trendy to accept everyone and see all body types as beautiful, but let's be honest, hot is hot and sexy is sexy. My body type never fell into that category, that's for sure. When I was younger, I was an average size, but as soon as puberty hit, it seemed like the extra pounds came along with the hormones. The first body part to really grow were the boobs. I was no delicate flower. Then the thighs and tummy seemed to want to catch up. I was active then, really active, but still, the pounds just kept coming on. I rode my bike to most places, and in the winter, I loved to skate and play hockey with the boys of the hood. Despite the fact that I was always moving or doing something, moving into my teen years were awful times. I put on so much weight so quickly, and kids aren't very nice. I was made fun of, never had any boyfriends, and stopped participating in the sports and activity I love because it was just getting too hard the bigger I got. Of course, I realized that quitting sports would only make the problem so much worse, but I just couldn't handle the strain anymore. My body was hard to move around. My boobs were so big, jogging was out of the question, and they made my back hurt all the time. I tried every kind of bra and sports bra there was, but nothing could make it better. So I became less and less active, and before I knew it, it seemed like I couldn't stop gaining weight. My parents put me on a strict diet, and I followed it. No one wanted me to lose weight more than I did. I ate salad day after day after day. I never drank pop or booze as I got further into my teenage years. One good thing about being so huge and hideous is you don't have to deal with the pressures of peer pressure because you don't have any friends to pressure you. So other than quitting exercise, I really did my best to keep my weight down. I ate well, drank only water and the occasional juice. One day, after catching sight of myself in a storefront window, I decided enough was enough. That day, I threw out my bus pass and pledged to walk everywhere or ride my bike from that day on. I started walking to school every day. It wasn't a super long walk, but 12 blocks each way was 12 blocks each way. I hauled out my bike from the garage, and although it was hard to keep my balance being so overweight, if I really concentrated, I could do it and can feel my balance getting better. I rode that thing everywhere and even forced myself to take the longer route across town. I had been living this way for 3 months, and although I was super active and still eating really well, the weight gain didn't stop. I could say that it had at least slowed down, but it was definitely still gaining weight. I made an appointment with my doctor to find out what was going on. I went in on a Monday afternoon. At least I got to miss math class. I sat nervously in the waiting room, wondering what the exam would involve. I had told his nurse over the phone the bulk of what was happening and why I was coming in. When she led me to the doctor's office to continue waiting there, she told me he was going to give me a complete physical and to put the gown on over my bra and underwear. Oh God, I thought. Obviously, I knew he was a doctor and saw bodies of all shapes and sizes every day, but it still wasn't my body he saw every day, nor was I used to showing it to people. I don't even think either of my parents had seen me even close to naked since before puberty hit. So that was hard for me, knowing I was about to be examined, stared at, poked, and prodded. I reminded myself, though, that I needed some answers, and that if I didn't get them, I would likely never stop putting on weight, until it just killed me one day. An awkward doctor's visit was worth it to avoid that fate. So when the knock on the door sounded, I said, "Ready." Dr. B was the best, he really was. He was funny and always tried to make jokes to make me more comfortable. Well, not just me, I'm sure. I'm sure it was his style with all his patients, which is why he was so popular. He always took the time to sit down and really listen to you. His waiting room was always packed, and the flip side of that generosity with his time meant his patients, me, having to wait forever when he ran behind schedule, which was all the time. He sat on his roller chair and rolled over to me, asking me what was up. I told him he could probably guess by looking at me. He said, "Yes, the weight gain. I do see that, and it is concerning. Tell me when it started and what you've been doing." I started back when I was 12, right as I was starting to go through puberty. I told him how my body just seemed to change in all the wrong ways. In addition to the breasts and other obvious signs of becoming a woman, that was when the weight started piling on. I hadn't changed anything, but there it was, rolls and rolls of fat. I told him how the bigger I got, the less I exercised because it just hurt and didn't make me feel good about myself. But then I realized it was the worst thing to do and started to try everything again. I walked him through what my diet was like and how much activity I did daily. He said that I seemed to be doing everything right and that I definitely shouldn't still be gaining weight. He took my blood pressure, listened to my heart, my lungs, looked at my eyes, inside my ears. Pretty much every inch of me was examined. Next, he sent me for some blood work. Actually, a whole lot of it. I didn't get why they had to give me different needles. Why couldn't they just take one sample and test for everything? I felt like a pincushion by the time I left. I was sore and woozy, but managed to cycle home on my bike without crashing. My doctor said he would have all the results within 2 weeks, and I was super curious. If they turned up nothing, I think that would have been the worst thing. Of course, being told I had some deadly disease also wouldn't have been among my top choices to hear. When I got the call in 2 weeks to come in and get the results, my mom insisted on coming with me. In keeping with my pledge, we rode our bikes down to the clinic and locked them up outside. My mom was all about supporting my healthy habits and efforts, I'll say that. She cooked healthy for the whole family to support my efforts. She didn't want me to feel like I was any different, so we all shared my diet plan. My mom was annoyingly thin. She had long legs and was almost 6 feet tall. She had the perfect body, thin and athletic. She always said that she hated her body growing up. She was just skin and bones, no curves, definitely no boobs. She told me how self-conscious she felt to see all her friends developing, getting curvy, while she just seemed to get more tall and more awkward. Now that she was older, she said she finally loved her body. It had given her me and my brothers, and the little bit of weight she kept on after having 3 kids was just enough to give her those curves she'd always wanted. Now she loved being tall too. It's funny how you can spend a huge part of your life hating something about yourself, only to appreciate it for different reasons when you're older. My mom was so supportive, but it was hard to have a mom who looks better than you do. Doesn't do much for the self-esteem when you're walking down the mall and seeing more guys checking out your mom than you. None of that was her fault though, and I had one of the nicest, kindest, and most supportive moms around. My dad was kind of indifferent to me. I know he loves me and all that, but he loves my brothers in a different way. They have fun and really get each other. When my dad and I talk, I get the sense he's really trying and that it exhausts him, like he doesn't quite know what to say and is trying to force some kind of bonding moment. Ugh. So when my mom insisted on coming in to get the results with me, I was happy to have her there for support. We waited for almost 45 minutes in the waiting room, as usual, and wondered why we always still showed up on time for our appointments when we knew he would be running late. When the nurse took us into his office to wait, we were both fairly nervous. The doctor came in and shook our hands, made a cheesy joke, and then got right down to business. He said that the blood tests were quite interesting. He told me I had a rare condition where basically my metabolism not only didn't work, it did the opposite of burn calories and instead held on to them, which is why it didn't matter what I ate or how much. I would still put on weight. Apparently, the condition was caused by hormone shifts caused by thyroid issues. My doctor said the condition was rare and that it normally existed in older women, not someone as young as me. Lucky me, I joked. He told me not to give up hope because there had been amazing advancements in the study of hormone therapy and thyroid issues in women. He wanted to try a new treatment on me and document the results. He said it had been tested, so it wasn't like I was some kind of medical guinea pig or something. My mom and I both trusted the doctor, So we agreed to whatever form of treatment he thought was best for me. I started the pills right away and couldn't wait to start seeing results. The doctor said I should see results in as little as 2 weeks, especially if I kept up with my super healthy eating and exercise regime. He was right. Within 2 weeks, I had dropped over 20 pounds. It was like my body was finally responding to everything I was doing. I couldn't believe it. The more weight I lost, the harder I was willing to work. I was so motivated by those early changes that I kept adding more and more activity into my daily routine. 3 months later, I had lost almost 150 pounds. That's like a whole other person. I felt like a whole other person too at that point. I looked and felt amazing. My mom promised to buy me a whole new wardrobe if I needed one, and she kept true to her word. We went on a huge shopping spree. I even bought a bikini. I hadn't even worn a bathing suit in over 3 years. And now, here I was, buying a bikini.
To watch more animated story videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And tell us in the comments section what you thought about this story.